Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is going to be actually a very positive video about the current state of the game. Now, you guys might know that I am a strong and adamant supporter of the PTE features, and I love them very much. I thought PTE was overall better than the current state of the game, actually by quite some margin. However, that's not to say that the current version of the game and the new enhanced vanilla does not have some features that I really love. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the great things that have come out of the newer vanilla, out of the Annivesary update, and that should definitely stay in the game, as well as the best bits of PT that should be transferred into this end of the month update that is promised to us. Hopefully, the objective is not to provide hate or anything like that, to actually maybe, if the devs do watch this and there's enough agreement, that to help them steer them in the right direction. So without further ado, let's talk about the best features of the Annivesary update. Okay, so let's not start off with a negative, but with a thing that is actually a really great thing in principle, just not in reality. So resupply is a really good mechanic. We should not have it infinite. So yeah, what it worked like in PT was that you got about 400-ish of resupply, and that was fine. That works pretty reasonably well. Some vehicles got 800, 600, and some 250. So that worked really well. Now, what I do like as well, though, is the timer for the smoking mechanic. Now, this, for example, has actually always been in the game for when you're getting shot at. Now, just before we light that up, let's switch all the weapons off. The smoke timer is always a thing, it's just visualized now. So it was always the case that smoke could not be kicked in immediately. What couldn't kick in immediately was people jumping out. There is now a timer. So you see it takes a short while for infantry to jump out before they can start going bang, 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 which is a really great thing. So obviously we'll jump them in. Basically they can't go all guns blazing, which is a really nice feature, and it helps prevent the spammy sort of playstyle. Martyr down. On the topic of supply, at least make it consistent. So for example, the battleship, which isn't actually a troop carrying vehicle, it can't carry any troops, still has infinite supply. That's absolutely fine, but make it consistent. So why does the Humvee, sorry, Christ, the Land Rover, which is exactly what this is, have no supply whatsoever? So yeah, don't make it infinite, but make sure all of these sort of light vehicles, like the Warpig, I think had 0.8, so 800 kilos of supply. Very reasonable, because as you can see, it has a lot of ammunition boxes. So yeah, one great feature, but just poorly implemented in the current state of the game. Right, moving on. What I actually think is a great feature is the sneak feature. Just it's a little bit abusive with some vehicles, and again we need to make it consistent, because that doesn't have it, this does have it. Now I know it's an upgrade, but I don't understand how an upgrade in the sensors means that you can drive slower at low RPMs to make yourself invisible. So let's just make that feature a bit more consistent. Similarly here, obviously exact same vehicle, but you put a bigger gun on it, or actually just even a tiny gun on it, and it loses its ability to sneak. Let's just have a bit more consistency with that, because obviously this tank has got a massive gun and yet it can still sneak, unlike this guy. So yeah, I know the argument that that's got a stealth coat and whatever, but I just want it to be fixed and made a little bit more consistent, especially with vehicles like this that don't even have any weapons whatsoever. Cool. Now the sneak feature was removed from snipers, and basically they've just had recon put up to 3. Now I actually really liked, I know this is a bit controversial, so I don't mind which side of the fence you sit on this one, but snipers being able to sneak and being 2.5 stealth. Oh, sorry, hold on, it was a bit different. It was it 3 stealth when they were sneaking? No, it was 2.5 stealth when they were sneaking. Right, okay. How it should work, in the opinion of Lima, is that snipers are 2.5. When they sneak, they go up to 3, or 2 and then 3. GRU, 1.5 and then 2.5. You get where I'm going with this, and it just means that, you know, these guys that are fighting infantry, when they're sprinting across the field like this, I mean, I can see them pretty clearly. I don't understand why their stealth, whilst they're doing this, is still 2.5. Whereas if they're sneaking, I get that. Same with snipers. Snipers retain their 3 stealth no matter what they're doing. So again, if they're sprinting across the field, they still get their stuff, and that is wrong. That is wrong in my opinion. We should have the sneak function for the infantry as well. The other great win is, would you look at this AA here? It is actually capable now of shooting targets down. But what I hate is how late you have to arm the bombs. Oh, sorry, how early you have to arm the bombs and how late it pops up. Meaning that, yeah, even when you do this, it just pops up a bit too early. And there we go, one-shot kill. That was really nice to see. I was actually expecting the bombs to drop. Okay, one bomb did drop. So yeah, it is good, but it's not good enough. It definitely needs it's obviously a huge step in the right direction. Overkill is definitely fixed, and essentially the way the PTE had it was awful. So this is a huge win for the FTE, which is what people are calling it. I don't really know what that means, but yeah, whatever. The full testing environment? Nah, whatever. How it is in vanilla is a big step in the right direction. I just want it to be fixed a little bit more with increasing the range of AA and increasing the price as well to balance it all out. Right, so there we go. These changes here, including the AA, are the things that I really like from the current state of the game. There's a few tiny little bits and bobs that I actually don't mind or, you know, do think are good. But those are the biggest ones that I actually do like. There's obviously not as many as there were in the PTE, but what we're going to talk about is the best parts of the PTE that should definitely be updated and brought into the vanilla as it was. And I'm going to start off with the Globemaster here, just because of the price. Now, all air transports, including helicopters, which I'll talk about in a second, as you can see, they're queued up, were reduced in price. And that made paradropping a thing that was actually seen more often, and that is a very, very good thing. Let's have a look at this little beastie here, shall we? Oh, he's off the edge of the map, I can't zoom in. Let's fly him here. Anyway, just more drops and being more likely to risk paradrops is a good thing. It's a dynamic that's not very much exploited. Look at the insane climb rate, by the way. That is definitely that, and descent rate. That is dangerous. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, having more planes and stuff is a really good thing. By the way, if you do shoot a plane down whilst it's in the climb, it will continue to climb for quite some time before stalling and diving. Just a bit of a side fun objective for you here. We're going to drive that towards fly. We're going to fly that towards the AA over here, just to show you how quickly it is to shoot down. Now, air superiority fighters, I think, are more or less perfectly balanced these days. They work pretty damn well. The 9K missiles fill the gap that the AA can't do at that range, and it's really good. Essentially, are we going to see this shot down before these guys run out of ammo? Yes, we are. So again, AA is working perfectly well here. Okay, PT. This was one of the greatest features of PT, just a small tiny quality of life that recon buggies and recon vehicles in general can transport some infantry. Now, not all vehicles, but clearly here we see an empty seat, empty seat, empty seat, and I guess, to be honest, you could probably put a few people in there. So even if you give this 2 or 3 passenger seats, that'd be a great quality of life feature, because, yeah, you just stick them in, they actually get used. Right now, they don't really have a purpose, which is a really, really sad thing. Cool. Moving on. Let's just... yeah, we have to mention this, because if we don't, I'll get abuse in the section. First of all, that missile hits before the tank even fires. Right, that's fine though. The Armata can handle it. He's got APS, etc. 2 shots, and he's still managing to cling on to 1 HP. There we go, he's finally dead. That engagement, in my eyes, is pretty damn insane. Firstly, the ATGM, I get the reason that they're saying, you know, the ATGM is basically irrelevant if a tank can fire so quickly, but the whole point of them is that they're dirt cheap and you can spam a lot of them out in ambush positions. Obviously, this was out in the open. In an ambush position, that could have done a lot better. Secondly, this bad boy, this huge, humongous bit of metal, took 3 shots to kill an APC. Now, I know it's got Busk 3 armor, but it's still an APC, and tank shells will cut through it like a knife through butter, and, well, this tank shell should potentially cut through other tanks as well, lightly armored tanks like a knife through butter, but that's a different argument. Essentially, anything with 19 HP is now 3-shot kill, which I think is stupid. We need to bump this value up, and that's what the PTE had. This was, I think, 11 if I'm not mistaken, which is a perfect number. I'd actually like to see it to 12, so that the vehicles like Humvees, this thing, okay, he's 8 HP, but Humvees can be one-shot by a tank as well, because if it can't, that is insane. Yeah, 10 here, yeah, so this would shoot... I think the default might make it shoot this shell at the Humvee, which is not going to one-shot it either. This won't one-shot it because of the penetration 125. There'll be a bit of, yeah, the armor will actually stop it. So tanks with their aiming time needs to be improved as well, and that is because it is too easy to spam vehicles, and right now you can spam BTRs. Essentially smoke the position and get to an objective. So no matter how well you set up your layered defense, maybe with tanks as well, you cannot stop a spam rush no matter how hard you try, unless maybe you get a lucky airstrike or whatever, and that is not a fun way to play the game. So a good layered planned out defense should be harder to take than just a spam rush of BTRs, or the opposite for the American side. Cool, moving on. Yeah, the transport helicopters I forgot to mention, sorry. I think they're just a bit overpriced, and basically Russian players rarely use them as actual transport helis. Now, it is an attack helicopter gunship with transport ability as a bonus, but it'd still be great to see these in action a bit more. With the Slamram, with the NASAMs, with the CRAM, these things are getting easier and easier to shoot down. So, yeah, you know, I think maybe it is time that these helicopters get a reduction in price. And, yeah, I mean, their fragility... Okay, if we reduce the price too much, obviously we'll see an abundance of spam. But, you know, like the thing like the Korova, this thing should not be 150 points. That's insanely expensive, and it has no armament or anything, so yeah, and it's quite easy to kill. It's got no ECM, so that price is insane. This price is a slightly high, but I'd like to see it reduced, and this price should be just ever so slightly reduced as well, just to make it more viable in its designed purpose. RT spam is insane. It is actually a bit ridiculous. There is too much of it. The way PTE solved that was by increasing the price dramatically. So I think these were 325 points if I'm not mistaken. It had laser guided shells as well as a bonus, 20 of them in fact, but it was a good counter. It was a sort of a good balance. You have more potent, more effective artillery, but you bump up the price massively and make the respawn time a lot longer, so that obviously there's a reward for actually demolishing it. So there we go, that's the perfect balance. This is insane, by the way. I hate laser guided shells for 200. It's just insanely powerful. Think about it this way: if you kill one tank, you've made your money already. So having this on the battlefield makes perfect sense. Now, a tank is a 2-shot kill, so if you have 2 of these firing, okay, 400, you kill 2 tanks, you've already made a profit. So it's much better to have it with the price much higher, so we see less RT. As soon as you move in this game, you can expect 2 or 3 players to start shelling you, which is really not a fun way to play. Last but not least, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? It's the good old 1 versus... okay, well, okay. Yeah, how the hell is this tiny helicopter still alive? It shouldn't be the case. They should be 1-shot kill for all things. They are paper thin, and when you actually look at them, like for example, if we look at them, we'll quickly. Am I done with it? Is there any other points that I wanted to raise? No, I am done here. So let's return to main menu, and we'll just have a little look at the size comparison of a little bird or a killer egg compared to most helicopters. The size comparison is just absolutely insane. Lost some elo, didn't I? Right, okay. Special forces, helicopter. Right, tiny, absolutely tiny. Look at that. It's just, even when you do this, it's so clear to see the size difference, especially when you compare it to Chinook or the Osprey, or better still, let's go here, and then where's this beastie? Damn. It's basically an A320 fuselage. Yeah, look, I get the whole thing of not making anything one shot, but let's just do it for this, okay? It's a fragile, tiny helicopter. Yeah. Cool, but that's it. So, yeah, there we go. We've talked about the best things that this update has brought us, which, like, again, the update itself, in of itself, is not fundamentally bad at all. The problem is that there's so many great little things that they made on PC that made the game just so much better and feel way more immersive, way more realistic. I mean, realistic, I hate the realism argument because, you know, there's so much unrealism in an RTS for balance reasons, and I fully support that. But Broken Arrow, I mean, I've served in the military, right, for 6 years. I know it's not a long time, but this game is the most realistic feeling game on the market, so I really don't see an issue with, just taking what it's good at, realism, and just implementing more little bits and bobs like that. I mean, by the way, if you've seen Black Hawk Down, you know, it just took one RPG, not even a dedicated anti-air weapon, to shoot down a Black Hawk, because it just clipped the tail. The helicopters are super duper fragile, IRL. Like, one shot will definitely take them down, but for this especially, one shot will definitely take it down. So yeah, the maneuverability, it's apparently already ported from PT to this to make it more maneuverable, but it just doesn't feel quite as nimble, and I think helicopters should feel a bit more nimble too. And on the topic of the choices of units, we used to have the Desantniki 90, which was a nice alternative, the VDV Desha with the Thermal Barracks, and the other version with 2 machine guns. It's really nice to have more units and more variety. The SSO was actually really good with the other Thermal Barrack bazooka. I've forgotten what it's called. It was not the Burr, it was the SM, I can't remember. But that made this squad actually special forces-y. Now it's just a very weak line infantry. Basically everyone's using SSO in this configuration, whereas on PT everyone was using it in this. So why don't we have 2 good options that everybody can use in balance? And yeah, look how they butchered my boy. The Chorny were really, really cool with the 2 different setups. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that it's a huge shame, isn't it? They have ported across the RPG 29, but the 14-man squad was definitely a 12-man squad, sorry, was definitely a fan favorite. So yeah, the machine gunners with their 3 machine guns. Basically, the more options we get, the better the game is. Oh, one of the squads that was actually really fun to use, was it the PTO Metis? I think you could trade. Was it the VDV Metis? No. It was these. You could trade out 2 of these pathetic, let's be real, launchers for an extra machine. I'm doubting myself here. I'm not sure it was this squad. Anyway, for a grenade launcher and a beefier machine gun. I thought that was quite a good option. Oh, and an RPG. Yeah, and an RPG. So yeah, the more choices we get, the more variety we get, the better the game. It's simple as. Obviously, as long as it doesn't get to the point where all of the units are basically a copy and paste of their Russian alternative. So yeah, as long as we don't get that, things will be absolutely fine. Oh, the last thing I forgot to mention, sorry for almost finishing and then continuing, is the range. Rifle range and basically all small arms range needs to be increased because it is honestly a little bit pathetic. 700 meters is absolutely great for these guys, but I don't understand why these machine guns, okay, or the Scar for example, can't keep up. And the airborne, it is yeah, they get the 600 meter range. Why doesn't 762 get at least 500 meters? So for example, this is 762 for 4 quid. My mistake. Where's the GRU? They definitely have 760. Am I blind once again? Oh, for God's sake, it's in the recon tab. Oh, and limiting special forces. Sorry, guys. Another great alternative. Yeah, look. 760, I know it sounds, but either way. Increase the range for all infantry. How is that? Please do that. That'd be really, really nice. Cool. Now that is definitely all that I have for you. Sorry for going back and forth towards the end there a little bit. You just keep remembering all these little tiny things. Yeah, Airborne Recce, that's actually quite a decent unit. I know a lot of people are discontent with it, but I actually don't mind it. I think it works well for its intended purpose. That is all. I'm going to finish the video here. I've rumbled on long enough. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope maybe with a bit of a push in the right direction that the devs will actually start listening to our feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.